The Secret to Longevity. The story of Mr. Min, a 95-year-old man who lived deeper than most of us live fast. He wakes up every morning at 5:15 a.m., not because of a meeting, not because of an alarm, but because, as he says, that's when the birds remember to sing. Mr. Min is 95 years old. He walks barefoot in his garden, sips herbal tea like it's sacred, and smiles with the softness of someone who has nothing to prove, but everything to teach. I first met him while visiting my hometown. He sat beneath a mango tree, wearing a faded linen shirt, holding a steaming cup of tea. "Sit," he said gently. "You're walking too fast." Lesson 1, drink your tea slowly. You young people gulp everything, even joy, he said. He poured me a cup of tea, fragrant, earthy, still steaming. Taste it, he smiled. Don't just swallow it. Respect it. Everything you take in becomes part of you. I did. And for the first time in years, I tasted silence, peace, presence. That's when I realized it's not just about what you consume, it's how you consume it. Lesson 2, touch the earth daily. Mr. Min doesn't go to a gym. He tends his garden, he feeds the birds, he trims his body. Earth reminds me I'm alive, he said. It gives me something to care for, and in return it cares for me. His hands are weathered, his steps are slow, but there's strength in his slowness. He bends with the trees, moves with the wind, and breathes like the air is made of grace. Lesson 3, forgive. Not for them, for you. When I asked him if he had enemies, he chuckled. I had many, until I realized they were just mirrors I hadn't cleaned. He paused, looked away. I've buried anger. I've buried shame. That's why I'm still light. Then he leaned in. People don't die from age. They die from what they carry. Those words hit deeper than any therapy session I've ever had. Lesson 4, laugh every day, especially when life isn't funny. Mr. Min laughs like a child, unfiltered, loud, joyful. Sometimes my knees make music when I stand. It's not arthritis, it's a concert, he joked. That day, we laughed until our stomachs hurt. He taught me that joy isn't a reaction, it's a choice. And the older you get, the more sacred laughter becomes. Lesson 5, love something, anything, every day. Mr. Min lost his wife 17 years ago. His children live far away, but he isn't lonely. I love this garden. I love my birds. I love the way sunlight dances through leaves. Love doesn't need to be loud, just consistent. He bent down, picked a yellow flower and placed it behind my ear. Now, you carry something beautiful too, he smiled. The last conversation. As I got up to leave, I asked, what's the real secret to your long life? He looked at me, eyes calm, steady, kind. People want formulas, he said. But the truth is simple. Wake up grateful. Move gently. Speak kindly. Let go often, love fully. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath and said, don't live long, live deep, and when your time comes, let go with a full heart. Epilogue. What I took with me, that was the last time I saw Mr. Min. He passed peacefully 6 months later, in his sleep, with the birds singing outside. But every morning at 5:15 a.m. I sit by my window, I make tea, I breathe, and I remember. It's not about adding years to life, it's about adding life to your years. And that was Mr. Min's greatest gift to me. Beyond the years, what he really left behind after Mr. Min passed away, I returned to his home. The garden was still there, quiet, blooming, full of memory, but something was missing, or rather someone. His small wooden chair sat empty beneath the mango tree. On the table beside it, a worn-out notebook. I opened it. Inside were pages filled with simple words, one sentence each day. Today, the tea tasted sweeter than usual. The birds came early. I must be doing something right. The boy listened. Maybe he will remember. And then the last entry, dated just 2 days before he left this world. If I go soon, don't mourn too long. I've lived more than most people ever dare, and if my stories helped you pause, smile, or forgive, then I've already lived twice. I closed the book, sat on his chair, and for the first time in my life, I truly understood what it means to leave a legacy. The legacy you can't measure. Mr. Min didn't leave behind millions, no property empires, no medals, but he left something far more valuable, a garden that still breathes peace, a notebook that whispers wisdom, and a boy, me, who became a better man just by listening. That's when it hit me. True legacy isn't what you leave for people, it's what you leave in them. A message to you, the listener. If you're watching this now, maybe it's not just a coincidence. Maybe you needed this story to remind you to call your grandparents, to slow down, to forgive yourself, to take off your shoes and touch the earth. Or maybe you needed someone to tell you, you don't have to live forever to live meaningfully. You just have to show up with love every day, like Mr. Min did. Some people leave behind monuments, others leave behind memories that bloom. He left behind both, in silence, in stillness, in joy. Thank you, Mr. Min, for the tea, the laughter, the lessons, and for showing us all how to live, not longer but deeper. Live gently, love deeply, let go freely. That was the rhythm of his life. No grand speeches, no race to the finish, just presence, unshaken and pure. He didn't chase moments, he met them, like old friends arriving at his garden gate. He didn't hoard love, he gave it away, daily, in smiles, in gestures, in cups of tea still warm with meaning. And when it was time to go, he didn't fight it. He whispered his goodbye into the wind, soft, graceful, complete. Because a life well lived doesn't scream its impact. It echoes quietly, endlessly, in the hearts it touched. So if you're wondering what comes next, start there. Live gently, love deeply, let go freely, and you too will leave behind something that never fades. And you too will leave behind something that never fades. Not a statue, not a name carved in stone, but a feeling, etched softly into the lives of those who crossed your path. A feeling of calm in chaos, of warmth in silence, of meaning in the small ordinary things. Someone someday will sit under a tree, take a slow sip of tea and remember you, not for what you owned, but for how you made them feel. That is immortality of the truest kind. So walk gently, friend. Tend to your days like a garden. And when your time comes, don't worry about what you leave behind. If you lived with love, you've already left enough. And if one day someone finds your old chair, still facing the sunrise, still holding the echo of your laughter, may they sit for a moment and feel not your absence, but your presence. May they find tucked in the corners of your life a note, a scent, a habit, a story that asks nothing, but gently invites them to slow down, to breathe deeper, to listen closer. Because the truest legacy isn't passed through inheritance, it's passed through remembrance. And if the love you gave still blooms in someone's voice, in someone's pause, in someone's peace, then even after you're gone, your soul is still growing things. Then even after you're gone, your soul is still growing things. In laughter shared around a quiet table, in the way someone waters a plant with both hands, in a whispered thank you when no one's watching, you become the warmth in a stranger's smile, the stillness in a morning breeze, the courage in a gentle goodbye. And maybe, just maybe, years from now, someone will tell your story, not with fanfare, but with a softness in their eyes. They'll say, there was once someone who didn't just live days, they lived meaning into them. And in that moment, you will live again. Not in time, but in truth. Because a life lived with presence never really ends, it just begins again in someone else's heart. And so the cycle continues. One quiet life inspiring another. Not through noise, but through notice. Not through legacy written in stone, but through love written in the pauses. Your story becomes a seed carried by the wind, planted in souls you never meant to touch, and yet somehow did. A child will sit beneath a tree someday, tea in hand, bare feet in the grass, and wonder why it feels so peaceful. They won't know your name, but they'll know your presence. Because you lived in a way that made the world softer, slower, kinder, and in that softness you gifted us something greater than time. You gifted us the art of being. So here's to the quiet ones, the mindful hearts, the lives lived with gentle hands and deep roots. You showed us it was never about how much we did, but how deeply we felt while doing it. You showed us it was never about how much we did, but how deeply we felt while doing it. Because in the end, no one remembers how fast you walked, how high you climbed, or how loud you spoke. They remember how you looked at them when they were hurting, how you listened when the world was too loud, how your presence felt like home. And maybe that's the greatest miracle, to live so fully, so quietly, that your absence still brings comfort. To leave behind not a gap, but a glow. A warmth in the air, a rhythm in the earth, a gentle reminder that love, true love, never vanishes. It lingers, it lifts, it lives. So if today you wonder whether your life matters, look not at the applause but at the peace you bring. That is your legacy. That is your gift. That is how eternity remembers you. And when eternity remembers you, it will not do so with trumpets or titles. It will remember you in the hush of a morning breeze, in the softness of worn pages, in the way a grandchild gently cups their hands around a mug of tea, because someone once taught them to savour, not rush. It will remember you in the smile a stranger gives, just because someone long ago smiled at them first. It will remember you in a garden still blooming, tended by hands that never met yours, but somehow knew exactly how you'd want the soil turned. Because you see, the deepest lives don't leave trails. They leave roots, roots that grow unseen beneath the surface, that stretch into generations, that hold up stories that haven't even been written yet. You will live in the silence between words, in the pause someone takes before they react, in the forgiveness someone finally offers, because your story whispered to them, you can let go now. And what greater legacy could there be than to be the quiet reason someone chooses gentleness over anger, stillness over speed, compassion over pride? You may not have monuments built in your name, but you will become a part of the unseen architecture of love, the invisible scaffolding that holds others together, the steady pulse behind someone's courage to begin again. One day someone will face a storm, and instead of running, they'll sit with it. They'll breathe slowly, deeply, and they won't know it, but you'll be sitting there too, in every breath they take, in every choice to love when it's hard, to stay when it's easier to leave, to speak softly in a world that shouts. And that's when you'll know you didn't just live a life, you shaped a world. So keep living gently, keep loving deeply, keep letting go freely. Because in the end, the most powerful lives aren't remembered with noise, they're felt in the quiet that follows. And in that quiet, you will echo forever. And in that quiet, you will echo forever. Not as a name in history books, but as a feeling that lives on in hearts. Because you were never here to impress. You were here to impact. To leave behind not just footprints in the sand, but warmth in someone's memory. Let the world chase timelines. You chase truth, let others rush. You root yourself. Grow where you're planted. Bloom in silence. And trust the world always notices what is real. You don't need to go viral to matter. You just need to go deep. Be the reason someone pauses, the reason someone believes again, the reason someone smiles at their reflection after a long time. Because maybe your story isn't meant to be loud. Maybe it's meant to linger, to wrap around someone's tired soul and remind them, you are enough, just as you are. So, keep showing up. Keep choosing love when it's inconvenient. Keep offering peace when no one else will. Keep planting seeds, even if you never see them bloom, because someone will. Someone always does. And when they do, they'll wonder where that light came from. And maybe, just maybe, they'll find you. In a quote, in a memory, in a moment of stillness that changed everything. Live your life like it's a soft light in a dark hallway, not blinding but guiding, not demanding attention, but quietly saving someone's day. That is the kind of life that matters. That is the kind of life that endures, and that is the kind of life you are already living. And so this is the end, but not really. Because lives like his, like yours, don't end. They ripple, in every act of quiet kindness. In every moment someone chooses presence over pressure. In every deep breath taken instead of a harsh word spoken. You don't need a stage to be remembered. You just need to live in a way that makes the world softer, even by 1 degree. So when your story is told, let it be a mosaic of small, sacred moments, of tea shared, of hands held, of forgiveness given freely, of love offered without needing applause. And when someone asks, what did they leave behind? Let the answer be simple and whole. They left behind light, and we are still walking in it.